we have to look at people. If we don't change with if our mission doesn't change to meet the people, how do we meet people? We have, the organization I belong to now.
Thanks for sitting down with us here today.
My pleasure.
At the 50th year anniversary for Urban Financial Coalition Services. Tell me a little bit more about how you got involved in the organization.
So I became involved in 1992. And I became involved because I was one of those individuals chosen in my bank and picked by a minority in my bank, Bruce Crawley, for advancement. And so for that advancement, it needed training, mentorship, guidance. And I became involved with this organization, and I was amazed my first time going to a conference at all the African Americans in the room that were in banking that we didn't see. And so it was a platform for me to grow. It was a platform for me to learn. And I became involved with the organization and pretty active for the next 10 or 12 years.
Wow, that's impressive. So I have to preface this by saying that 1992 is the year that I was born. So, it's just that puts it in perspective, right? It puts it in picture.
Yeah, it puts it in a big perspective, yes.
So
yes.
For 32 years you've been involved in the organization, or at least for the next 12 years to come?
Yes.
And how did you see yourself getting involved? Like, of course, it would be inviting when you see people that look like you in the financial services industry making the impact that they are leaving. And what was the prompt? Is that the initiative? Is that the initiation of you being involved for the?
So when I went to my first event, we always start the events similar to this one with a hospitality suite. And I went to the hospitality suite and I sat down. And one of the founders, his name is escaping me right now, Nat Harris, was sitting there and he said, "Do you know everybody in the room?" And I said, "No." He said, "And you won't sitting there." And that was my first prompt. I got up and I went around similar to what we did in that room a few minutes ago and just started meeting people. Now my heart was beating like out of my chest, all the butterflies in my stomach. But he taught me something with that. Just that one interaction, and that was that you can't be seen or heard if you're sitting still. Mm-hmm. You have to be in the room. And so I had to put myself in the room with the people and have conversations, let them know who I was, learn who they were, to be a part.
That goes to a saying that our current national president normally reverts to: be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Is that what you think you did there?
You do. You have to make yourself comfortable in the uncomfortable, because that's how we move and grow to where we want to be. If we're always uncomfortable and stay uncomfortable, right? If we stay uncomfortable, then we don't advance. We have to take the challenge. And we find that once we go, we like, in the Christian world, we call it fear. Fear is called false evidence appearing real. So it feels like it's going to be scary. It feels like it's going to, all these things, but it's not real. Once you jump in, you find it's not real.
That is very true. That's very true. So what is your expectation of this organization right now? It celebrated its 50th year. A great feat for any organization to stay for 50 years. What is your expectation? What do you hope to see happen in the next 50 years to come?
Well, what I like to do first is become more involved. I think that the organization is still doing great things, or has great desires to do great things. We were so many chapters strong, over 20 so chapters strong, and we're not now. I think what we need is to take an in-depth look at our target market anymore, the people that we're here for, to find out what their needs are. Because I believe that the banking industry or the financial services industry has changed somewhat over the years. And if you don't change with it, then you see, I think, some of the things that we see, that how we've shrunk a little bit instead of grown. I think with any business, we need to look at the target market and what it is that they need. Once we put need, we meet the needs of folks, we'll see people come back. I think we're still relevant. I think that the times are still difficult for minorities and African Americans in the financial services industry. Not as difficult as they were certainly in the 90s, but they're still difficult. We can tell that by the landscape we see now. But I think we have to go back in and say, what is it that they need now that they have now that they didn't have before? So the needs have changed. And so we need to look at the needs so we can meet their needs.
Absolutely. Assess the current market environment, see where we can plug and play and bring value. Do you think our Theodos's initiative and the PPP, as he calls it, the program, the people, and the partnerships, well, first of all, what do you think about that initiative as a whole? And do you think it actually impacts or at least brings value to the same point that you're talking about?
I think it absolutely does. So when we look at people first, we always have to look at people. We cannot just look at mission, we have to look at people. If we don't change with if our mission doesn't change to meet the people, then like we say, we kind of date ourselves and become irrelevant. Processes is how do we meet people? We have, the organization I belong to now, we're now doing a lot of our stuff online. There's a lot of things that can be done online, and I know the organization has shifted to do some of that. And then partnerships. I absolutely believe in partnerships, and we have to continue to build those partnerships. And the DEIs right now, he just said that, and I said that's a good place, a good landing place, because the DEI is a place where we can collaborate with others to bring what we have to what, to be a part of that DEI, and we are that part of the DEI. And the gentleman who just shared his success about seeing people succeed, that's what we do with financial services industry as minorities in the industry. We reach out to those people who don't get what they normally get from others in our field. In all levels, in Treasury Department, and any level it is. We need to be the ones there to help people not just on the inside, but on the outside. There's so much we can do with the knowledge we have. Finances run the world. And then as we empower ourselves, we can really certainly empower our people by using what we have to help elevate them up.
I love it. Any last words? Ms. Carroll?
No, I'm excited to be here. 50 years is a long time. I served as treasurer for 4 years, 2 years, sorry, 4 years, 2 years under Demita Barbie and Ann Bush. I served as regional vice president. I served as chapter president. So I got involved. I think people need to get involved. We have to make time for this organization. If you're a part of it, we may not have the same amount of time that we used to. Things change. But there's some part of us that can play a part in helping to continue on so that this organization can celebrate the next 25, 50 years.
To come.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much for all the contribution you've done so far and continue to do. And I think there are golden nuggets that we're able to take from this conversation as the leadership would like to listen to first and then certainly implement. I totally agree with you. Online presence is necessary. Online engagement is necessary.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to bring with this environment here as well. So
Very good.
your participation, your words are valuable. Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank